being positive is actually hurting your performance. It's a sad thing to say, but it's the truth. Negativity crushes it as compared to positivity. It shouldn't be the case, but that's how we are wired. That's what human beings react to. Positivity doesn't convert. Negativity is a click magnet. So there's so much data out there. There's so many different tactics that actually support why going negative actually can be a game changer for all of your performance. So Outbrain came out with this data specific to headlines, the big words that you put in your social posts and in your promotional emails. And they found that headlines with negative words like the word worst or don't or never, they get 63% more click-throughs than positive ones. What? Why is that? Because negativity equals a threat. Our brains are wired to avoid danger. It's in the subconscious. So what does that feel like? What does that look like in a headline? So instead of saying something positive, if you're a business to business marketer, 7 ways to improve your marketing budget, you want to flip it and go negative. And you would say the 7 worst budget mistakes marketers still make. Or on the consumer side, instead of being all positive and saying 5 healthy post-workout tips, no, you get negative. And you say 5 things you should never do after a workout. Rupert Murdoch has this quote, which is sad, but I believe it. Nothing sells like bad news. When you're sitting there watching the news and it's a nice story, oh, that's nice to hear, but you don't really remember it. Unfortunately, when you see the bad news, kind of the negativity, it seeps into you. You can't forget it. You sit up a little bit more, you pay attention a little bit more, and it works in marketing as well. There's something called the mistake multiplier. And Backlinko had great data on this. And it was all about the fact if you use the word mistake, the actual word mistake, in your social posts and in your promotional email, it will double your click-through rate. Why is that? Why does it stand out? Because how about this? What would you rather click on and engage with? Tips to improve your CRM strategy or mistakes that are destroying your CRM strategy? Oh no, I want to avoid mistakes. We all want to avoid mistakes. That is human nature. And that's what we have to always be thinking about. So Truman Capote has this quote that I think is pretty awesome. Failure is the condiment that gives success its flavor. We all want to avoid mistakes, but we'll click 10 times faster to make sure we're not screwing up. And it's a fact. The wildest one, the smallest one that has such an impact is this new one that came out from subjectline.com. So when you get these promotional emails, sometimes there's an emoji in the subject line of those emails. Well, this is wild. If you have the first character of your subject line of your promotional email, if it's an emoji, but just not any emoji, if it's a negative emoji, as opposed to any other kind, it will actually increase the percentage of people opening up your emails by 17%. So instead of having a smiley face or the sun or a party popper, if you actually have a broken heart, that emoji of a heart with the line down the middle, or an angry face, or that yellow triangle with the exclamation mark, the warning sign, as the first character in your promotional email subject lines, it will actually increase the percentage of people opening up your emails by 17%. That's so wild. You know, Seth Godin had this quote: if you want to be interesting, don't say what's expected. You know, a sad face is not expected. A smiley face is expected. It's rare. It stands out because it's rare. It stands out because immediately we see it, we want to react to it. That's what we have to think about in our marketing. It's not about, hey, what's the right thing to do all the time? It's every time you hit post on a social post, every time you send out that email, what are you doing in this moment to get your marketing communication to stand out from everybody else's? It's a little battle in that inbox. It's a little battle in that social media feed. And if you're just copying everybody else's playbook, because that's what you see, and you think, well, if they're doing it, I should do it, that is a recipe for creating wallpaper. That is exactly what doesn't work. You have to go in the opposite direction. And You always have to be thinking about human nature. Experian came out with this data about subject lines overall, not just emojis. And what they found is negative subject lines. If the entire tone of your subject line is actually negative, it will lift the percentage of people opening up your emails by over 15%. So instead of saying maximize ad ROI today, you would say stop burning ad budget. This is for business marketers. This is for consumer marketers. Instead of check out our summer specials, it's don't miss the deal everyone's talking about. It's putting that slight little bit of fear, right? It's that little bit of fear. There was a movie called Fight Club. Love this movie, Fight Club. And the guy that wrote it, Chuck Palahniuk, he said this: people don't remember what made them happy. They remember what made them scared. And by the way, that's so true. I saw one horror movie, The Blair Witch Project, when I was a kid. And that was the last one I could ever see because it freaked me out. I remember it like you have no idea. I will not see another scary movie, but it is seared into my mind. Now, you don't want your marketing to be seared into the minds of your prospects and who you're marketing to, but you do want it to be remembered. You do want people to react to it. You do want people to stop for that millisecond and consider it. That is the difference. That is how you know you're doing something. Donald Miller said this: people don't buy the best products. They buy the products that make them feel safest. Like, oh, if I buy this, I'm going to avoid this mistake. If I buy this, I won't have this problem anymore. That is how marketing works. Nothing makes you feel safer than avoiding the next big mistake. So instead of just being positive, think about flipping the script and adding negativity to your marketing.